MetalNationRadio.com.
Hi, this is Adam Onslaught for the Global Onslaught on Metal Nation Radio. It is my distinct pleasure this evening to welcome back an old friend of the show, an old friend of the Global Onslaught, Henrik Flyman from Evil Masquerade. Good evening, Henrik.
Hello, it's nice to be back.
It's great to have you back. I mean, it's been, 6, maybe 7 months since the last time we spoke, and obviously since then there's been a lot of changes with Evil Masquerade in terms of direction, in terms of the new album. It's got a very different feel from your previous, which was obviously Pentagram. So how have things been?
It's been great, and basically big changes is the normal with this band. So basically it's not that different from before. Usually an album is very different from the one before. If you've followed us since the beginning, it's if you compare like Welcome to the Show to Theatrical Madness, it's very big differences there, and then moving on to Third Act again, and then Fade to Black, a Pentagram, and also this time. So if you look at the whole catalog from the beginning till now, it's very different, but that's the normal.
So each time you're sort of working on an album, is it you sort of how can I put it? I can't even say the word. You put it in a little box. It's probably the best way I could put it. This is the album.
But I don't know why that is. I think it's probably because I'm very easily bored, and just doing part 2 of the album we just did isn't that interesting. Well, let's see what happens next, because if I would do a part 2 of the Digital Crucifix, that would be very surprising even to me, and since that is surprising, maybe it will happen. I don't know. Maybe
so. But the fact remains, though, Henrik, that this new album, the Digital Crucifix, I mean, I only had it through my virtual inbox about a week ago, but I've been listening to it ever since. It's a hugely different and a complete departure from the previous album. Obviously, you've mentioned that you change every single time because that's the way you like to work. But even some of the changes in this album have been quite surprising. And I'm going to name the track, and you know which track I'm talking about, which is the Extra Mile Jazz. Now explain that.
Basically the style of music had a lot to do with the lyrics, because the song is a true story, and it's about this very, very annoying groupie girl or lady that had decided she was very determined to get close to the band, and we weren't that interested about that. So she infiltrated a booking agency down in Europe just to be able to come close and represent us. And long story short, she really pissed us off, and I was so angry with her, so I thought I should probably pay someone to get her killed, but I was voted down by the band, so what could I do? The second best I can write a song about her, because I'm a musician, and to make this song stand out so much that you would ask me about it, I would need to write some music that is very different, so you have to react. So I can tell this story now. Fuck you to her, and that's why the jazz feel of the music.
It's a very clever way of dealing with that entire situation. I just hope we never give you the opportunity to write a song about Global Onslaught in a different way to what you would write anyway.
No, that would be a very good song.
That would be great. Hey, there you go. There's your challenge. You've heard it here on Metal Nation Radio. Henrik is going to write a song for Global Onslaught.
You never know.
You never know, do you? It could happen. But it's an interesting part of the album, and it certainly is a talking point. Personally speaking, The Shame is my personal favourite, and you're just about, or have just released Like Voodoo. Whose choice in the band was it to release that as a single as opposed to anything else on the album?
It wasn't that easy to pick the single track on this album. On some of our previous albums, it has been a little bit easier to see which one it should be. But for me, basically half of this album could be potential singles and videos. And we are likely to put out some more, at least videos from the album. But I can't really remember now, but I think it was a voting or discussion within the band and Dark Minister Music and some people close to the band, and just try to see which song most people fancied and also would have some potentials to reach out and get more people from that don't know about us at the moment. Just more crossover in styles, because it's representing the band. You can easily hear it's Evil Masquerade, but I think also we will reach some other fan bases that didn't really know about Evil Masquerade that might be interested now. And we can also see it because just looking from our Facebook page where people are reacting, we see people that we never expected to come our way for the first time after 10 years. So I think we probably chose the right song for the first single.
Absolutely. I mean, in terms of the album itself, there's one element or feel about the whole ensemble, the whole piece. It seems it sounds like it was a fun album to write.
Yeah, it was. It was, as it usually is, the most time consuming part was to find what the style, what it should be. And that usually happens by just writing, and then some way along the way, a style is crystallizing, and you see, okay, these songs are actually hanging together in a strange kind of way, which could probably be album material. And when that happens, it's a little bit easier, and then you can continue doing whatever that is. And when that style was found, I think it was basically somewhere spring or something last year, and then it went pretty fast writing the rest of the songs, and it was absolutely fun, and it was also a great couple of last years when we got Dark Minister Music, which was absolutely important to be able to continue doing this with joy, which music should be. Pentagram was one of the better albums we have done, and that could not have happened if I didn't know we had Dark Minister Music to support it, because in the past it felt completely pointless sometimes just to release more music, because it felt like it was going directly in the trash can. But on Pentagram it felt like, okay, this will really have a chance, and of course motivation to actually see a good future or a potentially good future. Of course, that will be reflected in the songwriting and the whole process. And when we had done the album and we released it for the first time on the new label, and we could see that it was actually what we had hoped, we got so much more exposure, and we got out to new fans in a completely different way. So we knew this model is working, and now we can do it even better. And that, I think, that had a lot to do with why it was such a joy and so much fun to write this album. And everything is working so much better now. The whole structure in the band is better than ever. My private life couldn't be better. Everything is great. So I think that all that together is the reason
a reflection of this album.
Yeah, I think so. And for me, I've heard some songwriters and other artists that they work best when they feel crap. And a real blues musician can't write blues if he doesn't live the blues. I don't work that way. I can write completely depressive music even better when I feel good. A song like, for example, The Shame is very dark. It sounds like it's a guy having problem writing that song, but I think I could write that song, for example, because I felt very good.
Yeah, because you're looking at it objectively rather than being swamped inside that.
Yeah, exactly. Because then you can use your full potential instead of just using a little part of it while the rest of you is suffering, and have your focus completely elsewhere.
Is it writing the story rather than actually living it, I guess?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, a good way of putting it. Same as writing a horrible movie or something, or horrible, but the Holocaust, for example. I don't think you would have written the Holocaust better if you were in one of the concentration camps.
No, indeed. Now, obviously, you've talked about your relationship with the dark minstrel music and the way that the band has changed since that point, since Pentagram, and this obviously the new album. During that period, obviously, was the departure of Apollo, who'd been with you since 2005. How did that affect the band? Obviously, you've talked about your relationship with dark minstrel music and how it's changed the way you feel, the way you write, the purpose of the band from Pentagram to this new album, The Digital Crucifix. But during that whole happy period and what appeared to be a more successful and musically lucrative period for Evil Masquerade, Apollo departed from the band. How did that make you feel? Did that put any problems your way, or how did that change the dynamic of the band? And now obviously you've got Tobias. How does that change everything?
Only for the better good, actually, and that's not not to speak bad about Apollo, because it was actually my decision to ask him to leave, or we wanted to move on, because Apollos was moving one direction with his life and career and everything. He wanted to slow down. He wanted to be more home, focusing on his full-time job as a school teacher, 2 kids and family and everything. And we were moving in another direction, because we have been fighting for this for the last 10 years. And finally, with dark minstrel music and the previous album Pentagram, we could actually see things happening the way we want it to go. I thought it was better for us to go our separate ways before we got any problems, so we could still stay friends and hang out whenever we have the opportunity for that, and just be happy for what we have done and still continue like friends, instead of us pushing in one direction, which is not good for him. And then, of course, we would eventually come into some conflict situation, which would not be good for the band or for our friendship or anything. So I just had a talk with him, and I'm an honest person. I told him exactly what I told you, and of course he could see our point and my point in this, and somehow he felt a little bit relieved about it, because he, of course, also felt that he had to be there for the band and do the best for the band. At the same time, he felt he had to do the best for his job and for his family and everything. So I think he got a little bit pressure off his shoulders from this, and whenever if like Tobias would be infected with throat infection or whatever, he would be happy to step in as a filler for him and replace him for a gig or whatever. If that happened, I hope it will never happen, because Tobias is Evil Masquerade now. But it's good to have, if we have need for someone to replace him, it's good that will be an original singer from Evil Masquerade, I think.
That's quite unique for a band, really, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's because lots of bands are, I don't know, they end these things in a bad way, which makes it problematic for people to stay friends and hang out. And I didn't want that to happen, because we are good friends, and I want us to continue to be good friends. Mm-hmm. So that's why I wanted to do it this way.
That's great. Lacrimosa. Let's talk about that for a moment.
Yeah, those Germans.
What's going on there? As if you're not busy enough. Henrik Workaholic Flyman.
No, I'm not a workaholic. I need to. I'm a full-time musician, and being that in these days require that you keep busy and you can, you have to make a living. And when I was asked by them to join the band, or the touring band and recording band, because the band is just Tilo and Anne. So when I was asked to join them on the Sehnsucht World Tour in 2009, it came perfect in my life. So I said yes right away. And it has been a great ride since then. So I can't remember. I think I've been on like 3 world tours or something with them now, and lots of single-off gigs and festivals. And it's perfect, because, and it's even easier now, because since Tilo, he is in charge of that band, he has his own label, and I have dark minstrel music. So it's not really that a big problem to make things work. So I'm doing my best to be available for them when they need it, and since we all plan good ahead, I know which periods will not have any action at all from Lacrimosa. Lacrimosa, and it's easy to fill that with Evil Masquerade. So it works really good, and it's been very good for Evil Masquerade as well, because I have been able to play for audiences which I would never have the opportunity to do if I only had Evil Masquerade, and they have become curious about who I am and checked it out and found Evil Masquerade. So Evil Masquerade has also boosted tremendously because of Lacrimosa. So I'm very happy for it.
Sounds like a match made in heaven. I think
it is, and especially the timing when I joined, it couldn't have come better, and it was with such a short notice, because they obviously tried to find a guitarist for that world tour in Germany, but it was such short notice. I think it was like 2 months or something before they were heading out, and all the good guys they knew down there, they were already booked for tours and everything. So, and then they came to think about me, because the bass player there knew me from Evil Masquerade, because he's in another metal band, so it's called Storm Warrior, and he knew about me, so he recommended me to the band. They contacted me, I sent a couple of demos, and that was basically it. But it came in such a perfect timing for me as well, and it felt like an impossible thing when they asked me, because I was supposed to learn 2.5 hours music I almost had 2 months, and everything in German, and a style which I was not really familiar with. So since it was it felt like I could probably not do it. That's why I said yes, because I usually say yes in those situations, because then I have to prove myself, and it turned out in a very good way. And since I'm still in the band like 5 years after, that must be a good sign that I made the right decision. And we are keeping busy still occasionally. More things will happen later this year. Also releases coming up with them. So yeah, I'm happy.
I'm very happy for you. I think it's testimony to your hard work that you can do that and write an album such as this. But I didn't touch upon this before when we've sat down. This is the second occasion now you and I have sat together for a talk, and we didn't bring up, and I wanted to bring this up the first time, but it didn't come into conversation, about your work with Metal for Cancer. How is that going at the moment? What's going on with that?
Not so much happening from my side, because the whole thing started with Richard, who is the founder of Metal for Cancer. He asked me 2.5 years or something ago if I wanted to donate one of Evil Masquerade's songs for Metal for Cancer, so they could just sell downloads or put it on compilations or whatever, and they could get the royalties for that and donate the whole thing to cancer research, which I thought was an absolutely great idea. But the timing was really bad for that idea for me, because that was in a time where I tried to get out of every contract I ever signed with record labels or managements and everything. So I wanted to make the whole Evil Masquerade catalog completely free and get it back. And it felt wrong to start licensing parts of it at the same time as I was trying to get out of everything. But at the same time, I thought the whole project was absolutely brilliant. So I asked him instead what he thought about the idea that I wrote a completely new song for that project, which wasn't called Evil Masquerade, but most of the guys from the band would perform it, and then we could invite just sort of an all-star cast to make it even more interesting, because I think if we had done it with only Evil Masquerade, we would probably only have been interesting for our fans at that time. But if we would invite like people from, it's a colorful bunch as well.
Very colorful. Tony Mills, for example.
Yeah.
What a character that man is.
Yeah, and there were many of them. So I thought we would reach more people doing it like that. And he thought it was a great idea as well. So the big workload for me was writing the song. I think I did it in like 3 days. But then collecting and telling all these guys how to perform and how to do it, and the technique thing about the studios, and trying to because everyone used their separate studios, and just to collect the material and put it together and making it ready for mix, and so it would sound like one track recorded one place. That was the big thing. But after that was mixed and sent to Metal for Cancer, that's basically the whole thing we did. So now whatever that generates in money, that will go to Metal for Cancer and directly to the Australian Cancer Research Foundation. and what we do now from even Masquerade and even more so Dark Minstrel Music is just to keep awareness up and just tell about the project occasionally, just to whenever or wherever it's possible, just to let people know about it, so it will not die completely. But the big thing is done, so we just try to keep it alive, and yeah, that's about it.
Henrik, it's always a pleasure and a privilege to be in your company. I'd like to say thank you very much for coming to talk to us today about the new album, which is tremendously exciting. When is that available?
April the 22nd is the release day, the official release day.
Okay, and what formats can we see that on?
You can see it on a round plastic piece with a hole in the middle.
I think I remember those.
Yeah, hopefully some people also remember them and will get a few of them. Would be really good for economy.
Yes.
And it will of course be available through all normal streaming and MP3 downloads and you name it. It will be. Unfortunately, not yet on vinyl. I'm not sure that's how important it is. I know there are quite some fans out there that are interested, but maybe we will put it out on vinyl later. I don't know, but for now it will be through all the digital formats, inclusive the plastic one.
The album is The Digital Crucifix. The band is Evil Masquerade, and we've been talking this evening with Henrik Flyman. Thank you ever so much, Henrik.
Thank you, Adam.
Thank you.
United We Rock. Metal Nation Radio.